you believe this? We are live. What is going on, guys? Patrick Dees. Welcome to the first ever FCFL AMA. I'm one of your hosts today. I'm the co-founder and chief gaming officer. I'm joined by two other co-founders. First of all is Ray Alston, co-founder and the commish. What up, man? Ready to talk some football?
Yeah, let's do it.
And on the couch is Grant Cohen, co-founder and chief digital officer.
That looks cool.
It's really good. No, it's pretty good.
It's the two.
And true to your form, this is an AMA. Our first question in is where do we anticipate playing? I'm excited to tell you that we are coming to you live from Las Vegas.
Red Bull vodkas.
By the Cosmo.
Only in
In the Cosmo.
Only in Vegas.
In a hotel.
Right.
Chilling on the couch.
We are at the FCFL
No, don't
Former
lie.
Players
Oh, yeah.
Association.
Dees has this couch in his house.
Yeah, we have two of them. Are you kidding?
We brought this
Yeah,
with us.
Literally shipped it here. We're here at the NFLPA Former Players Association Convention. Ray spoke earlier today, and we're out here looking for locations. So it is our intention, right? Like it's safe to say that we anticipate all 8 teams will be here in Las Vegas.
Totally.
So amazing question.
Yeah.
You guys have anything you want to add to that?
No, I just think Vegas is a great place for it. It's starting to become an esports mecca. If you're gonna come into this country, because we are a global company. I mean, we've got fans in 100 different countries. I mean, I talk to guys in Australia. You'd be surprised how many times a week I
Paris,
talk to people
New
from
York,
Australia, New York, Germany, Turkey,
Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
So what do you?
Aladdin.
If you're gonna come somewhere, if you're gonna come out of the country to come to America, where are you gonna go?
Yeah,
You're gonna come to Vegas.
Very good.
And we're gonna make this hot.
Yeah. So, Grant is Vegas joke.
Miners the Golden Nugget or fans? Everybody. Who's not a fan?
I would have gotten there eventually.
Paris Hilton maybe is a fan. I don't know.
So we had Kylie asking specifically why you don't have socks. It is an AMA, so I have to answer the questions as they come in. And Grant, why don't we have socks on?
I have socks on.
Okay. Look, we're taking all questions.
Sorry, Kylie. I don't wear old man above the ankle
I'm
socks.
just literally we're taking questions as they come in.
If it's the Kylie that I think it is,
You know it is.
I'd like a 3-piece.
All right, fair enough.
Love you, dog.
All right. We've got a question actually.
Kylie's a chick. What are you talking about?
No. Okay, so how do you intend to reach out to the international audience, right? Like one of the things that you had just said was that we do have like this international audience. Last year with our proof of concept team, we had plays called in 100 different countries, over 19,000 plays called per game. So what is our intention? How do we intend to like build an international community?
I mean, it just seems to be happening. Like you look at so on the fan token side of the business, we have, as part of the registration for our referral and pre-sale programs, we ask if someone's a U.S. citizen because the regulations around accredited investors are different in the U.S. and outside, and an overwhelming majority are not. Now that's, potentially crypto investors may not be as big of FCFL fans who may be more interested in fan token as it applies to other leagues in the future, but I think the world we live in now is a global world, especially digital, and you think about where we're, potentially streaming games and the types of environments it's in. I think because it's American football, it'll have a strong American tie, but I think there's a huge amount of expats international who just already fall. I don't know that we have to even just like put a huge amount of effort into that. It just happens.
Well, just by nature of the fact that it is a digital game right now. Like so, again, we intended to the arena that we're looking to build. We'll probably have about 1,500 seats here in Las Vegas. It is more of like a set, right, than it is like a traditional
arena is a
stadium.
stretch of the word.
Right, yeah, no, right, but it's like
a
set,
tent with some bleachers.
Sure. I mean, it's a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, it's going to be incredibly high-tech. When we're not using it, we intend to have drone races there, state-of-the-art concerts, 3D live experiences. But the thought process, this is really built for the home audience, right? This is built for the digital audience. We're rethinking football. And so I think by nature of that, it's way more accessible for the national audience, right?
And that's what I love.
Right.
I think when it comes to football, especially me being a player, I love
Not a player,
to finally get the armchair guy, the guy that has so much to say, the guy who he could do better than it. I can't. Those are the guys that I want for this. And those who are just ready to say, you know what? I've always wanted to be in sports. I wanted to be a coach. I wanted to be a scout. I wanted to be an exec. Through this will be allow people to actually live that out, and I love that. And then plus the competition of it too. I can't wait.
Well, I was getting asked by a reporter earlier today, right? Like one of the things that they said, like, how do we intend to teach people about the game? I think like we've been from the beginning, right? Like we've had last year we had Coach Liotto, who's the coach of the fans, right?
And he's been great.
And he exists to teach people about the game of football because our goal is to make this accessible for everybody, right? Like, you know, as I was a kid, I tell this story all the time. Like, I was a gamer growing up. My old man doesn't like the sport of football. Like, it's not that he doesn't like it, but like, you know, he couldn't tell you the difference between a 4-3 and a prevent, and like none of that. He didn't teach me anything about it. So I learned football through Madden, and I think our goal is to be able to use like the coach of the fans and have other resources and teach people about the game of football to collectively raise all of our fan IQ, so it's accessible for people who might not have grown up or had a football background.
But football has changed since the 80s. It used to be a different fan. The fan used to sit back with a hot dog and a Coke and cheer. That was all they needed to do. Now the fan is here. He's engaged.
Lean forward.
He's got his laptop.
Yeah.
He's got his phone. He's watching the game. He's tweeting. He's got this open, and that is the type. That's the fan that we're looking for. And you're right, Matt.
But that's sports in general. All sports have moved to so much more of. I mean, from the A's and sabermetrics to. I mean, look at basketball now and how they rate players with PR. Like, all of sports has moved to fantasy and data and stats and technology has moved everything forward, which is good. It's great. I think the application of the concept well above and beyond just football.
Right. Which, I mean, we talk a lot about timing, right? Like, this is the time for this concept, right? There's never in the history of technology or sports could we have executed what we're about to bring to life next year.
And that's funny because Grant, I don't know if you guys know this, but Grant actually came up with he wanted to.
I don't know if you guys know this, but it's my idea. That's the important part of where this is going.
So we argue about this all the time because there's four of us. It is. Let's say this now, and this was not his idea. So we're going to put him under the bus right now.
I genuinely think everybody who's ever watched sports has had this idea, though. Like, I mean, I love that you fought this, Grant. Like, definitely Grant 10 years ago was drinking with somebody. Grant drinking? But like, I think everybody who's ever enjoyed sports has had this idea. Like, I want to control, I want my input to count.
But
no one was dumb enough to try it.
But that's what I loved about it. He tried it, and it went to.
But didn't really. We pussied out.
That's fine. But I was
good decision though. We almost bought a team in Fort Worth, Texas, in 2008, which came with a whole bunch of land tied to it. Imagine. You want to know the value of like $3 million of real estate in suburban Fort Worth, Texas in late 2008? Yeah, not a great investment. Would not have been the wisest business decision. So fantastically, we did not do it, luckily. And then obviously fast forward, and it was just like technology wasn't ready. Like, we were envisioning it where before each pitch, you'd like get a text message that would say like A for fastball, B for curve. Right. You have to like reply back, which is just not nearly as cool as what we're doing now.
And these guys, these and our CEO, Sora Ferruti, they actually owned an arena team in Las Vegas, and they wanted to do the same thing that we're doing now. I was in Chicago trying to come up with an app to call plays mobilely, and this was the only way it could work. And I've always been, especially in football, this is why I love what we're doing. Playing football, traveling all over the world, going to different teams and understanding how to develop a team together, people that you've never known, people from different backgrounds. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. This guy used to be a Mormon. This guy lives in Orange County.
He's still a Mormon giraffe. He's still a Mormon giraffe.
The giraffe, definitely.
But it took the timing, like you said, but it took all of our different experiences and all of our different skill sets to make this happen, and that's what football is. It's like everybody on the field has different skills. You don't know this guy. You're competing with that guy, but you all come together for one thing, and that's what I love about it.
Well, let's get back to like how this football is going to differentiate from football that other people have seen. First of all, a big time shout out to Dale, who's in the chat. He just said super excited to be here. He also asked, look, if we could carry one lesson forward, guys, from the proof of concept team, what would it be? And are you watching us live right now?
Yeah, I want to make sure it was working.
Yeah, how is it?
You are actually watching us.
I don't know. This is what we do. It's literally watching us. So to Dale's question, if we could take one thing from our proof of concept team, bring it forward, one lesson learned, what would it be?
I'll let you go first.
Well, for me, it's business economics of the league. The league that we played in, God bless, a bunch of nice people, but I mean, 10 teams we were in Salt Lake, and Salt Lake and Phoenix were the only reasonably decent markets. I mean, we're Sioux Falls and Cedar. I don't even know where these towns are. I have no clue where they are. And yeah, Bemidji, I think, had a team. Like, just not places where you can actually build a big sustainable business. And then the model where you play 16 games, 8 at home, 8 away. Your 8 away games, the league itself doesn't actually sell rights or sponsorships or anything.
Yeah.
So every team is on their own. You basically can make money 8 days a year. And then 8 days a year, you have to spend a bunch of money to help some other team make money, which is just stupid and backwards and just not like, it's stuck in a time 50 years ago,
Sure.
not
Right.
a modern thing. So the notion of centralizing cost, centralizing resources, and creating and it's just, who cares about filling a 3,000, 4,000, even our arena, 8,000 seat arena? Who cares about that? Like, build it for a much bigger fan base globally, where you can just have one single facility. We won't even sell tickets here. Just give seats away and let people come watch it and enjoy it. Like, there's just a much more forward-thinking way in which you can structure and build a sports league of any kind. And that to me is the biggest thing.
And not just sports league of any kind, of like a state-of-the-art production facility, right? Because we only have one facility, we can truly bring the best in sports technology and have it in one place and have just a state-of-the-art, caliber broadcast.
Yeah, we're not like our team in Colorado, like really nice, cool stadium, but like, or even Salt Lake, like you're at it's just whatever Salt Lake City arena was built 20 years ago. It's still available and you can rent 8 times a year. Like that's not like a place you can actually build something cool in.
Yep.
I think mine would be, and I'll take
this coach.
I was about to say this is personal. It's I want to make sure I have a better quality of teaching for the players. I think the fans did a hell of a job with the players that they chose. I think we needed to do a better job of the trainers, of the coaches that we had train these guys. I don't think the players came totally prepared the way I would have done it and the way that I've seen it done. And I think it's kind of why we're here now. We're at the NFLPA convention. I'm connecting back to a lot of my former players, a lot of the because we want to put an ecosystem around this league of former players that have been involved, that people know, that the fans know. One of the greatest times we had a great time when Corey Chavis. I don't know if a lot of people know he has a website called Draft Nasty, but Corey Chavis came on once a week and he started to have scouting interviews, and he would just literally talk about the intangibles of players. Why are you looking at this player? What's good about this guy? And it was so intriguing to see fans, just the questions, and they were just like, oh my gosh, I am so full. Like, you have just filled me with so much football that I didn't know. And that's what we need to do, that on the fan side, but also on the player side.
So we have a question, that's a great answer, by the way. We have a question about, there's a stigma around the indoor game, right? Like, Grant, you've been really passionate, very vocal. I think people relate to it as a subpar game. We are playing 7-on-7, and it is indoors, right? Like, we're on a set. Like, what are we doing to move away from that stigma about failed football? Right? The AFL's down to 4 teams. What are we doing to differentiate the brand of football that we have from kind of the failed indoor game that people know out there?
So here's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I think that I had never been to an arena football game prior to going to your guys' game against the Kiss
That's
a few
right.
yees ago.
Yep.
We sat on the wall, and it was awesome.
It was awesome.
A ton of fun.
Totally.
My wife, who's not the particularly largest football fan, was like, she was like pregnant at the time, was like, this is rad. Like, I had a good time. And she wasn't even like throwing it back or anything.
Yeah.
So for her, she's also a roaring alcoholic. She like, to me, it was just a fun, entertaining experience. The problem is it translates terribly onto TV.
It does.
You don't get that feel of being up close.
That's a good point, yeah.
On
Speed, that
to me, it's not like hockey.
That's a good point.
I can care. I'll watch maybe the end of like a Stanley Cup game on hockey, but I'd be thrilled to go to them. Like, going to them is fun. But there's certain sports that are just better on TV and better in video. And I think something about the wall and the way it closes the experience hurts it. So I'm all for, although we may play in an indoor environment on a shrunk down field with less players, I don't think we should have a wall. I think we should have a sideline like anyone else. You should be able to drag your feet and get tackled out of bounds. I think it makes the viewing experience better for the TV and streaming viewer, and it makes the football feel more relatable than having this kind of like hokey wall up. That's my opinion. We'll let the fans vote, but that's my opinion.
I like the 7-on-7 feel. It's traditional football, and the reason I say that is because it's a part of practice from intermediate school to high school to college to pros. So when you say 7-on-7, true football players understand what that means, and then it opens it up to be, a air raid, like lots of scoring, a lot of great catches, a lot of great plays. You get to really see a lot of quick skill, and that's why I like it. I love the speed of the game, and when you can see the skillful parts of that, and understanding routes and understanding coverages. And so when you have 7-on-7, that's the reason you do 7-on-7, because you want the athlete to see the field.
Yep.
And that's what I love about it.
I think it's all of that. Like, so a couple things I think we're doing to differentiate ourselves from that failed indoor game. One of which would be, to your point, we're shortening the game. I think we're at an hour. So we want this to be accessible football. You're in, you're out. It's very akin to playing Madden.
Right.
The other thing is, if you didn't see our proof of concept team last year, I'd encourage you to go check out some of our game footage. We incorporated some unbelievable drone shots. Right, literally followed the play. Like you were playing Madden, and gave you an unparalleled view of the field. It felt like you were right there. Very different than any kind of other football viewing experience that I've ever seen. So we're going to bring that, and then we're also introducing helmet cams, right? So you have that first-person perspective. So we're offering fans from a digital perspective, watching at home, like a really an unparalleled viewing experience. There's just nothing like it. On top of calling plays in real time, you kind of ingest this game. Not only is it faster to watch, an hour in, hour out, but you can kind of choose how you want to take the game in. So.
And just to kind of flip that going on the other end of that, that's the play call. And I always have this conversation. Yeah. That's the play call, and that's the football side of it. But it was awesome to see the experience of the whole Greg Hardy thing. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I thought that was amazing, because it put us as a company in a place where, like, holy crap, this is an executive decision that Major League Baseball and NFL has to make. And if you don't know
baseball. He's playing baseball.
I'm just, you know what I mean. I'm saying, these are huge decisions.
GMs have to make.
And these are huge decisions that GMs that have to make. And our team, our fans, these guys, our team and our fans did a great job of doing the making
metrics on bringing a defensive lineman on.
Well, I'm going to circle back. I'm going to circle back to the Greg Hardy thing in a minute. But I'm going to ask you guys to actually put on your prognosticator hats, right? So we had a question in the chat that said, "Hey, what do you think this league looks like in 10 years?" I know.
I don't even know.
This is live. I know. I'm really putting you guys on the spot.
I couldn't imagine, man.
So
I would literally see. We would have probably at that point made gazillions of dollars and had a visor over the helmet that had all this information, and everything that we see would literally be in the helmet of the football player. The fans will be able to talk to the football player. The fans will be able to see, the player will be able to see the play on his visor. Literally, that's where I think the game's going to go.
I love this AR. This AR,
That's pretty good, actually. I was thinking more about league dynamics, like how many teams and how big. I wasn't thinking. The technologist here. Elon Musk over here saying the future. I think that's actually awesome. And I never thought about that before. That's pretty dope. I think. Look, truth be told, in 10 years. Either we all hate each other and it burned in a fire about 7 years earlier, or it's crushing it and there's 32 teams. And I like the idea of us playing Starbucks have that. I like this a lot. Multiple seasons a year, condensed seasons.
Yes.
Yeah. I think current sports seasons drag on for too long.
Agree. I 100%.
I think we would do 2 3-month seasons a year. Would be better than 1 6-month season. And so I can see us doing having 2 seasons. I like the idea of traveling. I love the American Ninja Warrior comparison of you could have your Vegas season, your Miami season, and there's fun cities obviously you can party in, and not your Sioux Falls or your Bemidji.
But Bemidji sounds great.
Although I will say, I was in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl, and huge football town. It was freezing cold, but all the people there I did a couple the tech panels there and stuff, and everyone was we are building these huge indoor facilities that drove me by. One of the Uber drivers took me wanted to show me it. The Vikings practice facilities. We are going to host your games here. You guys are going to play here. And I was it is -7. It is so low on the list of cities I want to bring this in, but maybe in the summer, just summertime in Minneapolis, sure. Anyways, I think that with 30 teams. I also like the idea that in a weird way we almost revert. So season 1, everything's run by the fans, but I think you end up having teams that have varying levels. So some teams are going to be fully open, million fans follow this team, they all vote, everything's even. Yeah. You'll have some teams where fans have accrued so many tokens they move themselves to the top, and their team charter, team rules says that only the top 2 fans call everything. Mm-hmm. You'll have some teams who are screw it, we turned it over to IBM Watson to call our plays. Or some teams are we actually want to go old school. Screw you modern people, let's recruit a real coach. And our fans are giving, the fans don't make a decision. Their decision can be Like right now, their decision is making the individual decisions, but their decision could be to let somebody else.
Yeah.
or
Yeah,
machine
no,
make
that's
decisions
good.
for them.
Yeah, that's I didn't think about that. That's
I
good.
think that's what's exciting about 10 years, right? Like I think this is what we even call it, like version 1.0, right? Like literally our seasons are like software. And I like the idea of that this is constant iteration, like Madden, right? Like every year there's new features to the game, there's new things that they bring out. And I think like it'll be interesting to see the way the fans, to your point, like want to take this. I also really like, we're talking a little bit about a global audience. I think it would be great if we had leagues in various cities that had like a feeder program, right? Like so it's the same
so
8
good.
teams, but maybe in
8 teams in different countries.
8, like the same 8, but in Berlin, right? Like so, and the All-Star game represents the best of all different parts of geography coming to one place from your team or your house, right? Like we always try to like Harry Potter houses. Yeah. So
how cool would the Facebook Bowl or the YouTube Bowl or the Instagram Bowl?
I'm not watching the Instagram Bowl.
There should be a whole bunch of pictures.
Somebody just wrote, augmented reality is high up on my list of tech implemented. So I know.
Thank you.
I know. Ben from Minnesota. Like we have a Ben from Minnesota in the chat, so he's literally. I know.
Sorry, my bad, Ben. Really love the town. Just reason fucking cool.
So let's talk a little bit about. We had a question asked of us earlier. Somebody who's really familiar with our proof of concept team, the Screaming Eagles last year. There were a lot of penalties in that league. What are we doing to kind of mitigate that flow in penalties this year?
Can we just not have refs?
Yeah, definitely. Just
refs. Fans inside. It's just all I'm
And we have to change. We have to change the game to make it faster. No one. And somebody said this. I think one of the questions is going to be: Can we say something about instant replay? It's like, why? Let's just go. Let's play. You know, I remember when playing backyard
really
football.
Stand in the way.
I don't have
technology's there.
Nope.
Do it right.
Nope.
But just be quicker and more efficient about it.
It's football. I like line up and play again. Just it's so many. I'd rather get another play out than you figuring out what we did right or wrong. We do that in the film room. I'm like, fuck that play. Let's go do another one. That's just me.
Until the call doesn't go against you. Until the call goes against you.
It's either way. And that's the luck of the draw, though. How many penalties or going to a couple of plays in the Super Bowl or last year too? I mean, how many times is that going to happen? One time, the guy, Des Bryant, is that a touchdown?
Well, okay, the catch thing, like
I'm just
that's
saying.
I'm just
saying.
I think we can make the rules. Bill Simmons always says this, and I think he's right. Like the rule should be, if everyone in a bar thinks it was one thing, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know how exactly you draft a rule book that states that, but like I think you can. I think you can walk through all the rules and say, here's generally how the fans feel. Let's do that.
Right.
Right.
But I think that also goes back to like where do we see this in 10 years? Like it'll be interesting to see how the rules of this game evolve. Like it's gonna start as recognizable.
It's probably gonna be like two-hand touch in 10 years now.
Well, but it's just gonna start as recognizable football. But like one of the things that we're talking a little bit about is the kicking game, right? Like we have a chance to build football from the ground up now. And I don't know anybody who goes, hell yeah, let's kick some football. Like net literally has never been said. And so. You know, one of the things we're looking to do is like the kicking game. Yeah.
Scrags it? Yeah. Hey, look, I played in the NFL and I literally made a career on special teams. So for me to say this it's saying a lot. But I want to take special teams out.
Yeah.
Completely. Take them out. And instead of kicking a football, how about we do one-on-ones? Wide receiver against DB. Quarterback throws the ball, wide receiver against DB. Now, I'm talking to the real football players right now, the real athletes, the people who watch practice, they understand competition. I went to University of Tennessee, and one of the most competitive times in practice was one-on-ones. When that doggone horn blew, you going up against, at the time, Heath Schuler, it's a first-round draft pick at the time, T. Martin, Peyton Manning, wide receiver, when the one-on-one horn blew, the NFL scouts came to the sideline to watch you perform. It was the most competitive time. That was the time that you were able, as a skillful player, as a wide receiver, as a quarterback, as DB, to work on your skill. And it was just you and that other man. And to me, it was the most competitive time in football or even in practice that I would ever have. And that's why we're going to bring it into that.
So how do you reward the guys for it too?
How do we reward him?
Well, how about we do?
We should. We absolutely, and we should demote the one that does it. If he gets burnt up, we should put a toast on his helmet right here. He should get a toast, a piece of toast, jelly. Put a piece of jelly and just
get toasted.
Get that toasted. Just put a piece of jelly. So put some jelly on, and then put it on his helmet. As soon as he walks off,
back from AR,
you got toast.
Put some toast on there.
You're season 1. You're commissioned.
I'm coming up. I'm the
Season
commissioner.
10,
That's what
AR.
we're doing. As a DB, if you get beat, we have Wonder Bread is gonna be our sponsor. We're gonna have Wonder Bread making toast.
The toast of the day brought to you by Wonder Bread.
And you get slapped with a piece of toast. You gotta sit down and wait until it falls off before you get back.
But like, how good is that? And I actually really like the idea, and we've kicked this around. Like, we've got a pretty good working set of rules, and we're gonna land on some of these. I like the idea of like letting teams be able to wager, right? That like you get 7 for a touchdown, and you can wager up to 3 for that one-on-one. So they could be worth 10, it could be worth 4.
It's like golf. It's like golf. You're playing skins.
Right.
You're down a hole with tools, or you're down 2 holes, a hole to go. You're pressing. You're like, we're gonna make this double.
Yeah.
Double or nothing. You bet. Like you should. You should totally Jeopardy.
And this is a fan
You should
decision.
be allowed to do
And this is
Jeopardy.
a fan decision that literally comes
Not our
from
decision. It'd be a
draft.
fan decision. I like it.
How many points is this worth?
Totally.
How much confidence do you have?
Yep, 1, 2, yeah.
And what players?
And like, I love
Like,
it.
do you have a trick play? Like,
Right.
do you have like a, whether it's one-on-one or whatever it is? Like, do you have like a freak 7'2" receiver you keep on the bench? You're like can't really run, but like
It's
one-on-one,
easy.
just
He's the
jump
guy.
ball.
He does.
He just comes in twice a game. And,
Can I call
he
him the
bosses
giraffe?
someone? Yeah, you totally will.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me he won't be a white
Somebody's
Morgan guy.
taller
Sean
girlfriend than
Bradley.
me.
Sean Bradley. They just bring him out.
This is a true story. Sean Bradley is like a running joke in my household growing up because my, grandparents,
All white
as
Mormons.
their, yes, but as my grandmother was getting older, she literally would give my brother a copy of his autobiography for every
There's
birthday
one.
and Christmas, just one. It's called Standing Tall with Sean Bradley, genius name. And she would forget that she'd given him this. So every year for Christmas, we give about 20 copies of Sean Bradley Standing Tall, the Christian Bees. So if you're watching Christian, more coming this year.
His name was actually Christian.
That's my brother.
So
So
stupid.
I know. Let's talk about like the players, right? Like, so I get asked this a lot. We've got a question wanting to know how are we going to get the players in the FCFL? How do they try? Are they going to be tryouts?
Yep.
And then like the thing that I get asked a lot, like what are the caliber of athletes people can expect to see in this league, right?
Well, number one, we just
Less than Ray, better than me. In our primes.
Yeah.
No.
Somewhere in the middle.
Got it.
Somewhere in the middle.
One would hope.
Hopefully closer to his side than my side.
So we just added on our advisory board Greg Moore, the commissioner of the SIAC, which is the HBCUs in the southern region, and they have exceptional athletes. There have been athletes that have come out of those schools that have made it to the NFL. Morehouse, Tuskegee, Lane, Clark Atlanta. The list goes on. Kentucky State. The list goes on, and we're wanting to send our fans right into a division of players that we can funnel directly into the league. So I'm excited about it. I've always been a fan of the HBCUs, the historical black colleges, and so I think this will be an amazing experience for those. I mean, we had a lot of those guys on our team anyway, but in the IFL, in the league in general. But now we'll be able to focus on all the top guys that we can get, to pull from our league. So I'm excited about it.
Well, so I think it's okay. I think so. 2 years ago, our very first IFL owners meetings were here at a much less classy hotel down the street. So we got there, and I mean, I'd never owned a football team or know anything about getting players. And that was one of the things I was concerned about. Was like, how the hell are we going to find people to bring them, especially our teams in Salt Lake City, like.
Yeah.
How are we going to recruit? Like, yeah, Utah State, BYU, there's some decent talent there, but actually pretty good talent there, but like, I don't know. I mean, how many guys can we actually get? And all the other owners just laughed. And they were like, are you crazy? Like, do you understand? Do the math. There's 7 rounds of the NFL draft. Call it 30 teams. It's 210 guys. Not all of them are even going to make rosters.
Yeah.
So a couple hundred guys a year. There's 115 D1 schools.
Yep.
D1, D2, you're at like 300 some odd schools, graduating 30 guys a year.
Yep.
That's like thousands, 9,000 guys. Like
Yes.
the math, it's not even close. There are so many really good dudes who we all watch on Saturdays playing on ESPN2, even not every guy on Bama makes the NFL.
Yep.
Every guy at the U and every guy at Tennessee
Yep.
makes the NFL. In fact, most of them don't.
Yep.
So there's tons of good players out there who are
Incredible athletes.
20.
Yes.
Mhm.
Much closer to Ray than to me. 21-year-old to 25-year-olds. We're not going to have 32-year-old vets. Like, that's just not what this league's going to be.
Right.
It's going to be 21 to 25-year-olds who can either be a personal trainer or a coach, or can keep the dream alive and spend a few years getting more game tape, getting a little better, and a few of them a year are going to get called up. And we do a good job of developing talent, but more than a few.
Exactly.
And we'll have high-quality players.
And that's key.
And it's not baseball where there's a huge minor league. It's not basketball. There's a huge international.
No, I know.
There's nowhere else for him to go.
Nope.
Maybe the XFL. If
Well, and that's the problem though. There is no developmental league.
Right.
And to me, how awesome would it be to have a fan developmental league and saying, you know what,
Yeah.
I can pick players just like you guys can pick. So.
Well, I think it's one of the things we carry forward. Like, one of the things we learned in the proof of concept team Salt Lake, right? Like, we learned that the players who, we're giving them a platform, right? Like, this is the incredible visibility, and we're allowing fans to interact with them. We actually even encouraged players last year to put their Twitter handle on their jersey or their Xbox Live. And so the people who thrived on our team, right, were the ones that engaged with fans, but also had something to prove, right? And so.
And that's great because I played in the XFL. I was my last year of football, so I got the inaugural, the only one season. And what the XFL did at that time, back then, they were ahead of their game. They were ahead of the game. And there were some things that they were doing that people just weren't ready for. But it was still football. And I think there were some things that they just couldn't pull off. But what they were looking for was to try to create personalities with players. And if you think about the XFL right now, who do you think about? There's only one guy that you think about. And I remember when we were in the meetings, and McMahon was like, nope, he was, I wish. And McMahon was like, I'm telling you now, you better change your name. You better come up with a character. And 90% of the guys were like, man, I'm not doing this shit.
Yeah.
And one dude went out there and said, man, everybody hate me. He hate me. And that's all you think about.
Still?
And that stuck with me. I was like, man, when I saw the 30 for 30, and I saw the people, all the players that we had that were really good players that didn't get interviews, all you saw was he hate me. I was like, that's what we're talking about. And that's what we want to do. We want our fans, or we want our players to either put their Twitter handle, their website, their company. We don't care. Whatever it is that's going to get you noticed and get you exposure is what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we're encouraging interaction, right?
Bam,
absolutely.
done. Right.
So big shout out to Zach in the chat who's saying, man, this looks awesome. You've asked some great questions. We're going to get to them in just a minute. And keep the questions coming because they're amazing. We've got a pretty good backlog, but keep them coming if you're watching this live. Guys, talk to me a little bit about the actual play calling mechanics, right? So we have a question around, as I'm watching the game, I missed the proof of concept team. What's the in-game experience if I'm at home, I'm on my couch, I'm watching the FCFL, I want to choose a play. How many plays are surfaced to me as a user, and then how do those plays get surfaced? Like, how do those come from this huge playbook?
Season 1, proof of concept season, what we'll probably do moving forward. Season 1, play gets, as I mentioned before, play gets set. Picture the decision engine for play calling looking like a filing cabinet. And so you got 3 drawers, and each drawer is a section of the field. It's like inside your own red zone, middle of the field, on driving red zone, on their red zone. And then, so you're on your own 18. So you open the top drawer. This is the algorithm's doing. It's not a person. Inside those bunch of folders.
There's not literally this dude in the back that's like open.
In each folder is a down and distance.
Yeah.
Right? So it's 1st and 7, 1st and 9, 1st and 10, missed 1st and 8 in there, whatever. 2nd and 7, like it's all different down and distance situations. Inside those is a stack of plays. And the plays are stack ranked based on score and game time. So is it the first quarter, is it tied, or is it the fourth quarter and you're down 3 scores? Mm-hmm. The algorithm that determines the plays that are exposed looks at all those. So first it opens the right drawer, then it opens the right folder, and then it sifts through the individual plays and chooses the top 4 based on what it believes would be the most 4 likely to be successful. So people always ask, like, what happens if people run a Hail Mary on first down? Well, Hail Mary's not really an option on first down. Because the point here of this whole thing is to give fans the ability to be the GM or the coach. The coach is never deciding to call a Hail Mary on first down. That's not a thing. They're making a decision between a finite number of plays that are options in a situation.
Right, we're going to position fans to position the teams to be successful.
Sure.
Yes.
You're just giving them the decisions that a normal GM or a coach would have to
Totally.
make. A normal decision isn't, should I kick a field goal on first down from my own 5-yard line?
That's how I play Madden. That's not going to help real football.
But that's
real football, that's not an option.
I agree.
And
Not an
that's,
option.
and that's
We've
what
never
we
seen
want
that.
to do. We want to make sure that we're educate like you just said. We're trying to educate the fan so when they do see those plays and they understand that this is the right play call, because I've been engaged with my team all week. I've been going to scouting meetings. I've been going to all the meetings. I understand the playbook. We do not want you coming in. You can install the app and then you get here and you show up on Friday. You're not going to be prepared to play. You have to be here all week. The more you engage in the ecosystem, the better power and the more power you're going to have as a fan.
Well, the one thing, the couple things I would add to that is, one is, unlike Madden, you aren't going to have the ability to move through different formations, right?
Yep.
You'll have a handful of plays, which will have different formations associated with them,
True.
but you'll have a handful of plays. Last season was 4, maybe it's 6, 8, whatever, but it's going to be a much smaller subset because of the real-time nature of it. You have to get the play calls in and the ability to do substitutions quick enough. That's the first thing. And right now we're speaking purely offensive. The second thing is fan token. So the concept of fan token is that not all fans are created equal. They're not. Some are better than others. And it should be a competition, and the best fans should be rewarded. So he who has the most fan tokens will have the most power. Now, what does that mean will be defined by a per team basis.
Yep.
So it's up to the fans of a team to make that decision, but you theoretically will have top fans who either have more power or controlling only certain plays or only certain situations. Only certain fans get to call that, and it all comes down to the fan token, which is the whole point of this being tokenized and built. Well, blockchain is important for 2 reasons. One, to be able to control the flow of token on an open distributed ledger, and 2, to make all the voting transparent so that fans know what they're really asking for is legit.
So we've got about 7 more minutes. If you're watching at home, the questions are fantastic. Dale, your question I'm going to get to, it's a really good one. But if you're sitting on a question, what's that?
I thought it was Brittany or Christina.
If you're sitting on a question, get it in now. We have about 7 more minutes, but please know this is the first of many AMAs, right? So if you want to get your question now, we're trying to start doing these kind of weekly, so you can ping us with these types of questions. But right now we have about 7 more minutes.
No, I thought it was not a sandwich. Is that not it? Is that Dale's?
I was going to ask you Tupac or Biggie.
Tupac.
It's Tupac, yeah. God, one of
Really?
my favorite things about last season. Okay.
This is when you.
He's still alive. We're in Vegas, for Christ's sake.
So Ben asked me a question, which I think we get a lot, and then we're going to stick. I want to talk a little bit about fan tokens in its own AMA a little bit later. So we're going to get to that. I'm going to shelve your fan token questions. This is a question that is about the league and kind of the experience. Ben's asking, like, how does revenue get generated in a league like this? Can you jump in?
Oh, we have to make money? Oh, shit. So,
Ben, if you can help out,
yeah,
you can
so,
your ideas
tell us
in
that.
the comment section.
So revenue in a league like this, and in every sports league, is rights deals, sponsorships, merchandise. Every other league also relies on ticketing. We don't. Well, not every league.
No.
Most leagues rely on ticketing, but a lot of leagues make a very small percentage of their revenue on ticketing. Typically, that's revenue generated at a team level, not a league level. And our focus right now is at a league level. It's possible in the future there's a ticketing fee. We move to larger venues. We build our own massive facility. Who knows? But for the time being, it's all the same ways that typical leagues make money, just sans ticketing revenue. But we also have a way lower operational cost basis than teams who are playing in 8,000 seat arenas like we were last year.
And all over the country, and with a set of
And
shared
travel.
services, totally. ED Wrestling says, I look like Andy Dalton, and I would say you look like Andy Dalton. I actually prefer Harry Potter, the Weasleys. I prefer, I actually prefer Prince Harry.
Andy Dalton
I
might
prefer
be more of a
Prince Harry.
bigger badass.
Like,
I just now got. I just
know.
saw that.
So
Thank you for that. Who said that?
It's EB Wrestling.
Awesome. That is.
You look like Andy Dalton.
That's now his
I bet
contact.
he doesn't.
No,
I don't think many people do.
I think true. Yeah, I know. I do get weirdly alpha when I see like another goofy, tall redhead. I'm like, no, you know what's up? Like,
So he
this
looks
is
like-
my look.
He looks like Andy Dalton. I look like Samantha Ronson. Ray looks like Cuba Gooding Jr. So it's a really great combination.
Like
we run around
celebrity.
pretending each other's Kuba's here. Go.
Yeah.
Go.
Show
all right, so
me
do-
the money. How many times? How many times do you sign up
At
as
least
Cuba?
a week. At least a week. I get called that. At least no. I'll be honest.
been
At
a-
least a month. Someone calls me Cuba Gooding Jr. At least a month. I'm not lying.
I pass out your phone number all the time.
My
It's like,
wife
please
gets
call my
so
friend Cuba.
mad. She gets so mad. She's like,
Because
oh my
you're not
God.
Cuban.
You look nothing like him. First of all, she always
She's
says
like,
that.
yeah, but she's like way better looking.
I'm like,
Yeah. All right, so Dale's asking, will the FCFL ever hold events like where one lucky fan would try and throw a 60-yard touchdown for $1,000? Amazing question.
I mean, I'm all for the notion of fans getting involved. The problem is like sitting close enough to actually watch the games. Like, this is no joke. These are grown-ass men who are beasts of athletes doing some hard-hitting shit that, like, a regular human being cannot get this.
Nope,
Like,
for sure.
I'd like to fancy that I could step onto a basketball court and maybe get one bucket in the game, maybe get one shot off.
No
I wouldn't
chance.
die.
In an NBA game?
Probably wouldn't. But
Yeah,
I
not
wouldn't
a
die.
chance. Yeah,
Like, I wouldn't.
true.
I wouldn't leave like in serious physical pain.
True.
If I played one play as the quarterback of the Screaming Eagles, I would be in massive amount of pain.
Why would
so
you
like
do that? Yeah.
that's not an option.
No,
That's
not
in
even
football.
an
It's not an option. Other sports, I can step in the batter's box. I'll never get beaned. I'd strike out.
Yeah.
In a major league game, I could play right field for an inning in a major league game and probably be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe drop a fly ball. But if I played
Now-
one down as a quarterback,
Now,
I get blown.
hold
the
on,
shit
hold
out
on.
of
Now I can actually see it for the extra point though, because there is no offensive line there. The quarterback does not get touched. He has X amount of seconds to throw the ball. So if he was the quarterback for one-on-ones for the extra point, I could see that happen.
I kind of just love.
I could see that happen.
I love that question.
I can see
In future AMAs, we'll shoot from the
happen.
studio where I'm gonna have pre-prepared
It's gonna
assets where I can throw to a producer. And
Text
right
me.
now, what I would be throwing to a producer is that still of Ray hitting
Well,
you
what-
into a wall.
What if we did?
In our first video
So
that
maybe
we
you don't.
made.
First of all, and welcome me. I said, oh yeah, Dale, because like a regular fan will throw a 60-yard touchdown. Like Tom Brady can't throw the whole fucking 60 yards anymore. Like,
Yeah.
great idea, Dale. But
Good job,
that's
Dale.
not Dale Earnhardt.
No.
Dale Earnhardt did like watch one of our games. And
He
tweet
did.
it.
Dale does love
Dale
us, so
That's
Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt. My
Dale
God, bro.
Earnhardt watched one of our games.
Huge fan of friend of the show.
Yeah.
I actually think he meant like I think what Dale was talking about was like halftime promotions. You know, like where you bring a
Oh
fan up
yeah,
and
yeah,
get like a
of course,
half
sure.
court.
Well, no, but what?
Oh,
if,
yeah,
like,
half
day,
court
all
bucket
day.
for like a license
Yeah,
play.
yeah,
What if like instead of like the coin flip, we did actually let fans come out and like the highest rated voted fan from each team. We'll see if there's like fans who are ringers.
Yeah.
Like throw a ball for distance,
Sure.
kick a field goal.
Mhm.
My wife believes she can
Okay.
kick a 50-yard field goal.
That's not a thing.
She's,
you
yes,
Sure,
no, not
that's
zero
I love her.
chance.
She's a badass.
No, she's not. Not at all. But she's great. She's super mom. She's amazing. But badass is not necessarily a word we
Okay.
use to describe Chanel Mayu. And she claims 50-yard field goal, and her reasoning is
Now-
if she no practice,
Yeah.
she thinks, and she's like never played. Like she wasn't like she played soccer.
Yeah, right.
She's
Yeah.
not that sort of
No,
thing.
got it.
She claims it's if she had 1,000 tries, because her reasoning is if 1,000 tries, eventually one would go in.
No.
But so so my argument is I could have 1,000 tries dunking on a 12-foot hoop, and it would never happen. It doesn't matter how
Yeah,
many
no.
tries.
You will
it just
literally
physically
never get to 12
it's never
foot.
happened. Yeah.
Guys, I hate to do this, but we are all out of time today.
Seriously?
We are. I know, it went fast.
We
So
about
let's
to
do-
go party.
We are, as much as we want to continue to do this, we've got other things going on. However, we're going to have a lot more. Literally,
Let's go.
we might not stop just yet.
Football!
We're almost done. Guys, we're definitely coming at you with a lot more AMAs, so keep those questions coming. We'll let you know when they'll be. We'll have these guys on. We're going to
Can we talk about
talking
fan token?
We're going to talk not today.
This is just all football.
That was
We
the
replaced
intention
them
of
with-
this.
other
Our
letter brand guy?
future AMAs, we're going to talk all fan token. We're going to talk a little bit about blockchain. We're going to do a lot of those things that are other facets of the FCFL. What exactly fans are going to vote on? All of those things. But before I let you go, Grant, if people want to tweet at you, where can people find you on social media? Where can they find you?
Me personally?
Yeah, you. And
Why would you want to find
Yeah,
me?
I'm not
okay,
gonna
fine.
say
Ray Austin? Where can people find
I
you?
just wanted to say one thing.
Say it.
Power to the fans.
I love this. I love the commish so much. You can find him at Ray Austin 34 at Ray Austin 34 on Twitter.
34, 36. Is there?
36.
First of all, it's Ray Austin 36.
Way
Damn,
off.
we've been partners for like 3 years, dude.
Way off. You can tweet at us at the fan token at FCFL.io. I'm at P to the D's. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time.
Telegram. Fan token.
Power to the fans.